Hey everyone, and welcome back to our channel. So today I'm going to take you through our December budget in our Google Sheet. So I will be showing you the Google Sheet budget for this video, but I will do my budget by paycheck video later, either later this week or next week. Because it's Thanksgiving, I am not planning on putting up any videos later this week, but I wanted to try to get this video out before the end of the month. Things have been a little crazy for me at work, so we're just trying to get through it. But we have been doing really well the last few months. We have not, while our budget and our income was cut substantially, we, knock on wood, have yet to go over budget. So we have been able to just bring in money each month and manifest money and come up with different ways to bring it into our life, which has been really helpful. So with that, let me actually jump into this video and show you what our budget is for December. So what you will see in this budget is that I don't put our entire income out for the universe to see. You can kind of see how much we're planning to bring as a family from multiple different areas. So that's how I like to share my budget without sharing exactly everything that I make. We are planning on bringing in $6,000, I don't know why I did a 2, but $6,177.15 this month, which I don't know what that is in comparison to last month, but that's how much we're planning. So our rent, as always, is $2,200. We live in the suburbs of Chicago. We live in a house. Sorry, I keep playing with my hair. We live in a house, and that's how much rent is here. Moving on, health insurance for Ben. I did get a couple questions on this. It was actually more expensive to add Ben to my insurance at work when we got married. So he continued to keep his external insurance because he does work for himself. And his health insurance and disability insurance come out of our personal budget instead of his work budget. So that's what that is for. I had some people that were confused in the last video, so just wanted to let you know. It just didn't make sense for us to add him to my insurance, which automatically gets taken out of my payment. So renter's insurance, $26.92. All these things are the same. $12.95 for Canva, $15 for Libsyn. That's the program I use for my podcast. Actually, now that I think about it, yep, no, that's still 99 cents, and $7.15 for my email. That went up. I have no idea why, but it did. It went up like 15 cents, or like $1.15, I should say. I'm not anticipating any business expenses this month, and Netflix $12.99, car insurance $77.66, internet $73, phone bills $80. So with that, we are anticipating that about $2,900 of our budget will be going to fixed expenses and prearranged bills. From there, we go to our debt section, which unfortunately is the second largest section of our budget. This is an area that we really want to cut down on, and we are at the point where we can no longer cut from our budget. We have to figure out ways to make more money. So we are doing all kinds of things to manifest and bring more money into our lives. I truly believe that you get what you put out into the world. And so we're just working on building businesses. We're working on bringing in extra money where we can. And when our budget is a little bit more stable, we'll be really going hard at our debt snowball. But for now, this is where we're at. One cool thing, we did pay off our couch debt last month. So that means that is one less thing that's included in our debt, which is really exciting. Unfortunately, we had a debt payment that was in, what is that called when you don't have to pay it for a while, forbearance, whatever. Anyway, so it kind of that bill restarted as soon as our couch bill went away. So that kind of stinks, but at the same time, we did pay off a debt, which is really exciting to me. So moving on, these balances over here aren't correct yet. I haven't updated them from our November budget, but our balance is about $133,000 of debt. So the minimum payments that we'll be paying in December equal almost $2,000, which is insane. It's 31% of our budget. And that is why you got to hit the debt snowball. You know what I mean? So that's where we're at with debt. Moving on to our variable expenses. So we have been using cash for groceries lately. We do have some money that comes in via cash, and it's just easier because our bank is Ally, so it's all online and it's really difficult to deposit cash, which is annoying. So the cash that we have that's brought in via some projects that we do, we use that for groceries. So that's why this budget seems low for us. If you had watched our videos before, we have a tendency of spending like $700 to $800 a month on groceries. I actually put a little bit extra in here because we are supposed to host Christmas brunch, but there's been some stuff that's happened in my family, so we might have to push that back. And if we do push that back, then we'll just have a little bit extra in our grocery budget, which isn't bad. So budgeting about $300 for that this month. I budgeted $50 for restaurants. When you guys see our November budget recap, you will see that we went way over our restaurant budget. A lot of it was stress eating on my part and a couple, like one date that Ben and I went on. We are planning on going to like an anniversary lunch / date. So basically all of our anniversaries kind of lump into one area. We met September 1st. We started dating November 18th. We got engaged December 15th. This wasn't all in a year, by the way, but and then it's actually our 6-month wedding anniversary on December 8th. So we're just going to try to like go out to lunch one day as a nice date for celebrating our anniversaries. So I budgeted $50 for that. I am hoping, so I'll tell you guys more about it in our November budget recap, but work has been insane for me and I just have not been prepared for food. And I do tend to stress eat. I tend to like not eat for a while. And then when I do eat, I eat like Qdoba or I eat like chips and salsa or something like that. So it was just a little off. And there were a couple days where I really needed to get out of the house. So I went to Starbucks, and of course my Starbucks drink is like $6. So I'm not trying to like make excuses, but I'm just saying that I am planning on cutting that down quite a bit in December. It'll help because I'm actually taking a few days off in December for Christmas and just like chill time because Black Friday's been so insane on my stress levels. And then we just won't be like going out to eat as much. I'm trying to get closer to an AIP diet, which is an autoimmune protocol diet, which is part of my autoimmune disease. We're just trying to figure out some inflammation issues that I'm having and some like weight issues that I'm having. So I do plan on going on that diet pretty soon, which would cut out pretty much going out to eat most places because there's just a lot of foods that you can't eat, not in a bad way, but there's just a lot of foods that can cause inflammation that you wouldn't even think about, you know, like tomatoes and dairy and gluten, all those things, which I don't normally eat, but like tomatoes for me, peppers, anything spicy is like my kind of jam. And basically that's all the food that can cause inflammation. So alcohol, that kind of stuff. So I am planning on going pretty hard on that. I already started actually. So there will be less restaurants besides when we go out for our anniversary. Moving on, I budgeted $150 for my medication again. I budgeted $15 for household, $0 for beauty and haircuts, $0 for personal spending. So the reason I did this is because the budget is a little bit tighter this month. We have, as you'll see in just a second, we have like 2 random bills that came up kind of out of nowhere, not out of nowhere, but like we weren't prepared for them, which is the whole point of a sinking fund, but we haven't had the extra money to put toward a sinking fund. So with that, we have like $300 of stuff coming out. And because our budget is currently just a little tight, $300 is a big deal. And so I had to cut from somewhere. So I cut our personal budgets, which is fine. Ben doesn't really spend his personal budgets. I do, but I can chill out for a little bit. My personal budget was only like $15 anyway, so it's not like you can buy anything crazy, but that does stop us from buying Christmas gifts this month. So moving on, I budgeted $60 for therapy. That would be 3 individual sessions and 3 couples therapy sessions that I'm budgeting for, because I'm assuming with the 2 holidays, there'll probably be days that we can't go. Moving on, I'm budgeting $30 for my doctor. I do actually have to go to the doctor this month. I have to go to like a specialist doctor. I have to basically go, I think this might be the last time, and if there's no issues, then I don't have to go for a couple of years again, but I do have to go to a specialist, which tends to be a higher copay. Otherwise, my copay is only $10, which is why my therapy budget is so low. So grateful for that. So I budgeted just a little bit extra for that doctor budget there. Utilities, I cut this actually. I budgeted about $160. I do know, as you can see over here, how much about in utilities will be coming out. So I was able to lower that budget. I left about a $10 buffer, and I did that because our trash and recycling, basically, they scan our trash can every time we bring it out there, which we don't have to do every week, but when we do, they scan it and it takes money from our account. And once it hits like 0, they replenish it automatically to $10. So I just keep that little buffer there because I don't know like when it'll renew. So I just keep that there. So that's actually down this month, which is really nice. And then for train and parking, I budgeted $130. For tolls and gas, I budgeted $100, which is lower than normal. And now that I think about it, I probably shouldn't have budgeted that low, but we'll figure it out. We are driving for the holidays and stuff, but not as much as we normally do. So that is helpful. So these are the 2 areas that are this year that are like different. So, or this month. So I have my license renewal. It's $105 here in Chicago. So I have to get like my sticker renewed on my car in December. And I had about $48 in our car fund. So if you go back up to the top, you can't see it, but basically one of my miscellaneous things that's in here is the $48 from the sinking fund. I counted that as part of the income that I have. So that'll be about half of the license renewal. So that rest of it will have to come out of our regular budget. And then I didn't know this, Amazon Prime is under Ben. He has had Amazon Prime for a really long time, and he just let me know a couple weeks ago that we will have to renew Amazon Prime. So these are 2 areas that I really want to start sinking funds for next year, but we weren't prepared for them this month. I was kind of prepared for the license one. I wasn't prepared for Amazon Prime. So that's $130 that are coming out, but these both, you know, $235 will go away again in January. So that's good. And then I give us a $15 buffer. Moving on to sinking funds, $75 for Cora. That basically will just cover her food. Because we're in such a tight spot, I can't really put any extra money into her sinking fund, but that is a fund that I do like to normally add to. And then I started a sinking fund this month for my blog so that next year it will be fully paid for. And instead of having to put like $50 a month toward the end of the year into a sinking fund, I can easily do $15. So with that, as you guys can see, we're about $2,300, oh my God, no, $23 under budget, over budget. You know what I mean? So $23 that, it says we're under $23, but what has been happening the past few months is we've been bringing in a little bit more money here and there, or like we haven't spent money in certain categories, or, you know, we might get Christmas gifts or things like that this month. So I'm really not worried about it. Absolute worst case scenario, we can pull from our emergency fund. That is what an emergency fund is for. We obviously would not like to pull from it. So because we are low, we will be paying attention to how much we're spending each month, but I'm not worried about it. So that's kind of just what I'm expecting for our December budget. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like it and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will do my budget by paycheck budget here in a couple of days. So you'll either see it later this week or you'll see it next week. But I hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving if you're in the US, or if you're not, I hope you just have a wonderful week, and I will see you in the next one.